on Sunday football. It is coming at you from 2 p.m. from Salter over in Bundaberg. So both teams will be playing away. It's a little bit weird because it feels like it's more of a home game for the Dolphins than the Bulldogs. But the Bulldogs are the home side in this clash. It is 2 p.m. Baxter, talk to me about this side.
The Dogs. Jake Avalero, Blake Wilson, Jacob Raz, Braden Byrne, Josh Adakar, Matt Byrne, Tobin Sexton, Matt King, Reed Marnie, TPJ, Valiman Kikar makes his return, Jacob Preston, RFM, Kyle Flanagan, Kurt Moran, Corey Waddell, Sam Hughes, Jaden Uckenborough, Hayden Harrison Edwards, Ryan Sutton, JS, Liam Knight. I think that's the Liam Knight from South, who's made a switch before the deadline of June 1, which is, again, stupid because you can play probably 98% of the season with a losing squad and then just quickly jump to another team.
Or you did a Liam Knight and you did a reverse.
Yeah. Yeah, look, there's reports of them. Well, next year they've got Stephen Crichton coming in. Will he play fullback? Reports that he signed on fullback money, so that's it. Then there's Jaden Sullivan from the Dragons. He's a half. Apparently they're going to look at signing him. Then there's reports that Bulldogs are trying to go hard at Jerome Luai, given that his relationship with Cameron Serraldo and some of the ex-Penrith players within this current squad. It wouldn't be bad, but they pick up Toby Sexton. If that's the case, if Luai was their man, they pick up Toby Sexton midway from the Titans, which is stupid. Then they're going to, if it's all reports true, Jaden O'Sullivan from the Dragons, another half. Why? Because that's just another top 30 spot you're wasted, especially with Kyle Flanagan there as well. So that's really...
The reports are that if Kyle Flanagan will go the other way if Sullivan comes in.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't be the worst thing to get out of this club, regardless of who he is going to, given that his father will become the head coach at that time. But like, you'll have 4 players to cover 2 positions. Now maybe they drop Jacob Carraz and Braden Burns, and they put and Blake Taff, circling Blake Taff from the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So we talk about the Roosters with this salary cap.
It gets worse. It gets worse, Baxter. It gets a lot worse. Jamin Salmon to the Bulldogs.
Apparently, the week got
Connor Watson to the Bulldogs.
Again, another one was.
What's his name? The ex-Rooster.
Dylan Napa. I know who you're talking about from the Super League.
From the Super League, $500K a year.
Talakar.
Oh, this is bad.
I know it's your ex-player, Tilakau or.
This is bad. I've gone blank.
All right, he was with you a few years ago. Hold on, I'm going to look up this.
But nonetheless, they're signing all these players. But let's say Salmon goes in. You've now got Salmon, you've got Sexton. You currently still have Matt Burton. There's rumours they're going to go in for Luai. How many halves, I guess, if he's not playing fullback, that's another option for that halves position. I guess, how many backs how many halves do you need before you go, okay, maybe enough's enough?
Salo Takihiho.
Takiaho, that's right.
There you
go. Again, I know they're not signing them on big money.
But he's 33, but yeah.
The fact that, firstly, Reynolds had to move across to get Sexton in. You then look at this lineup. Let's look at the players. Okay, it's just rumored at the moment.
It's all rumors apart from Stephen Crichton.
Well, we'll leave Luai. We'll leave Luai out of it, but it's massive reports, obviously, that they've signed Salmon. He has to start. You'd assume.
Apparently, that report is that they've paid cheap because he's on sort of.
Oh no, I get that, but I'm saying you'd think he starts, or at least he's on the bench.
Yeah, he's a squad player, so he's benching for
Okay,
sure.
Blake Taff.
If Stephen Crichton doesn't work out at fullback, you could put Blake Taft there. If not, if it all does work out with Stephen Crichton, you could put him at 14. He's a great 14.
Do you see a world now where if they've signed Taft, does Critter go into the centres?
No, because if as I said, if Critter works out at fullback, if it all works at fullback with the spine, I'll leave Critter there and put Blake Taft at 14, which again, you probably get him on a cheap. He's
But you'd
a
also
great
have
14.
Jamin Salmon at 14.
No, I'll probably have him in the forwards. I wouldn't have
And
him.
then I'll go one step further. Do you have Connor Watson at 14?
Again, you could probably have him at this lock playing 13, like a Victor Radley, Jake Turbo, Pat Carrigan, Isaiah Yeo kind of player now. We've gone to the days where we had this big middle forward, and it was just another big body in the middle. Now we want this ball playing, slim, fast 13, like a Wally Lewis from the years gone. You know, you couldn't put him at 6 because someone else, I think Laurie Daly was at 6 at the World Cup squad, so they needed to put him in at 13. You had to have him in the squad. So, you know, maybe Connor Watson starts at 13. Maybe Raven Mariner moves to the bench and you strengthen up your squad that way in a retrospect. But, you know, maybe James Hannon starts at 14 because the fullback with Stephen Crichton doesn't work out. So Blake Taft starts at fullback. Stephen Crichton moves to centre. Maybe if they do get Jerome Luai, let's just say in the world they get Jerome Luai, is it Toby Sexton Burton or is it Sexton Luai? If so, where does Matt Burton go? Does he go back to the centres? Does it become a Avalero, Wilson at the moment, Burton, Crichton, Foxy, Luai, Sexton backline, which looks pretty good to me. Or Blake Taff, if you really want to go, you know. But nonetheless, it's all report. It is all rumours at this stage, apart from Stephen Crichton because he signed earlier on in the year. Nothing really positive to say on their current way. Quickly, Dolphins, not Dogs.
They're not going to win the spoon. I think that's the positive.
Oh, no. I don't have them winning the spoon either. I just had something written down here that looked like I said Dogs, but I didn't mean the Dogs.
Well, let's then have a look, obviously, at their opponents. It's a team that started the season in
They've still got to buy.
Form. Even before the season started, we sat here and a lot of critics said bottom 4, last. We both didn't agree. We didn't think they'd make the top 8. We thought they'd kind of finish where they are or where they are abouts right now.
They'll finish third last.
Well, I think they finished, obviously. I didn't have them in my bottom 4. I had them sitting in that 11th, 12th position purely because I thought they had enough talent to compete. But what we've seen and what our fear was coming into this season is you get injuries, you get suspension, you don't have the depth to compete. So they do have some big signings, which obviously they'll be boosted with next year. Flegler going one way, the centre from Brisbane going that way as well. They've got some big players to boost their squad next year. But you do have Mr. Hammer Fido in the back line. You've got Asako, Ewan Aitken, the man, the myth, the legend, Valance Taware, Tessie New, Cody Nicarima, and Nathan Cleary 2.0, as you like to say, in Sean O'Sullivan in the number 7 jersey. You've got Jesse Bromwich in the return of our good mate, Jeremy Marshall-Kin. Fins up. You've got Mark Nichols, Felice Kafusi, Connolly Lemu, Kenneth Bromwich, Herman Sase, Josh Kerr, Anthony Milford, and Jared Wallace on the bench. With Isaiah Katoa, Harrison Graham, Poa Asa, Max Blaff, and Jack Bostock in the extended bench. I don't think you will see too many movements outside this. The only one you could potentially see is maybe Isaiah Katoa replacing Milford, but I do think they will run out 1 through 17, bar any injuries. Obviously, Marshall King is still dealing with that AC joint, so he will be given up until the last minute to test his fitness and prove his fitness to play. But Baxter, another interesting game here. Obviously, it's not at home. The Bulldogs are not allowed to use ANZ, obviously, during the FIFA Women's World Cup. It is in Bundaberg. Whether that gives an advantage to the Dolphins, to the Dogs, I'm still not 100% sure. But I think this could go down as one of the games that everyone sleeps on. It could potentially be one of the better matchups of the round. And I think it's going to be an absolute cracking game. And I'm going to throw my tip out here first. And I don't know who I'm going to put in my footy tip in just yet, but I know who I'm going to pick in here. And I'm going to go to Dogs 1-12.
Well, that's an easy point I'll gain on you this weekend. So you go on Dogs. Yeah, look, bar injuries. Sorry, I'm sitting so far away. It is 10:30, 9 at the current stage, and I am very, very tired with one game remaining. But nonetheless, they'll run out 1-17 and an extended bench, of course, bar any injuries. Did we have him? Did I have him in my bottom four? I think I had him around that mark. They've still got a buy in hand, as I was saying, so they'll jump an extra 2 points, which will finish them in 15th if no one wins any more games from now to the end in the Titans, Dragons, Bulldogs, and Tigers. Dolphins, look, they started really good. Then they dropped off. Depth really killed them. And now they sit about 13th. They actually sit 2 points away from the 8 with a negative 91 for and against, the worst of all those teams. You're not that far away either. Minus 88 to minus 91. You're not that far away. But nonetheless, there are 5 games to go for the Dolphins to turn around. So could they win 5 games and win an extra 10 points to get into 32? Only time will tell. But I do have the Dolphins winning this 13+. It will be up at Bundaberg's at Salter Park. It is a great park to be. If you haven't been there, get yourself there, and especially go to the Bundy Rum tour. It is the best thing to experience. I have personally been on it many, many times. That I know the tour back to front, left to right, and I've been on parts of the tour that you can't go on anymore. That is showing my age due to the advancement of technology. But nonetheless, as I said, Dolphins 13+. You've got Dogs 1-12, and